the title is NMB. And so my good friend walked into this new bar named NMB. I don't know if the joint was actually new. I stumbled in after aimlessly wandering that night, and man, it was just bustling and hustling with people. I couldn't make out any of their faces, but it only made me more curious. I got my first good look at someone when he said, "What's up, man? Welcome." Despite the music in the background, he still heard my jokes and asked me how I knew his sense of humor so well. It was inexplicable. The people, mood, lights, sounds, and services all culminated in this fantastical social energy. We both wished there was some amazing force that could come to us now and give us one last look into that moment. Funny to remember all of it so clearly, even if we barely paid any attention at that young age. Anyways, this didn't last. A typical girl came in. He'd say my type was typical, and to be fair, I never got to know this chick. Still, you won't catch me playing with this outwardly soft and sweet type. She just sort of drifted towards our table after sitting alone at the bar close by. Looking back, she really was nothing special, at least to me. I don't know if he'd say the same. "Hey, so you guys come here often?" the girl piped up. "Actually, nah, I just found this place, and worst off, found this guy," the dog responded before the nope could escape me. He lightly nudged my shoulder, too. Didn't bother me none. I got to learn right then and there he was a scrawny dude. She laughed a bit and leaned in ever so slightly closer to my new brother. It seemed like he tried to cover up his surprised body language, but she totally noticed. Why else would she smile like that? To be honest, I made up this initial meeting. The specific details, anyways. But we aren't all blessed with photographic memory. Either way, my cup came up empty to my lips. Glancing around, I was totally alone. The place wasn't empty, but the other wooden chairs were sitting comfortably tucked in. Keep in mind, this isn't about me. It's about what I saw with my brother. With hindsight, they weren't just gonna simultaneously ditch the momentum they just built. Nah. The third wheel ceased to keep up beneath the frozen tons of fireworks we'd all thrown into our cart or on our table. My poetry skills have not come far, huh? I would find out all about those two soon enough anyhow. The whole lot of experiences to come, even beyond NMB. Well, she'd be there, closely draped around his shoulders. Good for him, right? I was no better, not them. This part sounds too convenient, like a script, sure. I don't know why it went this way either. But that same night, another new girl came into NMB. Before I knew it, he was congratulating me. He was eager to high-five me, which caused our girls to giggle as they waved goodbye a distance away by the door. He sincerely thought that we were made for each other. This all happened so fast. Lightning. Lightning we all aspire to capture in a bottle once more. "She's right, dog. We should all go on a double date to someplace new," he was agreeing with my own lady friend. Imagine that. I couldn't say I ever found myself agreeing with his. Either way, the future was looking all wrapped up. One could argue that there was a neat little bow tying all four of us together. Adorable, right? I'm not saying it was completely doomed from the start. It's just, all of our futures, me and my brother's romantical dreams, it was going to take men to make it through alive. But we were kids. The thought of a girl even hugging us was crazy. We would try to brag about our first romance without being too obvious. We didn't want the other to know. We were obsessed with validation. I told myself I would forget all of this within a few years, and I ended up talking to myself more than I did with them. I decided that enough time has passed since the days of NMB. I invited him out. We assumed that NMB went out of business, but truth be told, we just quit paying attention to it after we found our girlfriends. I asked him where it was again, even though I knew it was long gone. "Dude, that place fell apart after we dipped. We just took the ladies and left it dry," he joked. He looked them up online too, but nothing came up. How do these wonderful places just vanish? As if the world had opened up and swallowed it right under our noses. I brought up the idea of heading into new joints, and he was excited. It was relieving to see he missed this. We both missed us. So why play any more immature games? We were just going to have to deal with each other. I didn't plan on holding a heavy talk with my longtime pal. Quite the opposite. I just wanted to distract both myself and him from our oh-so-cruel lives. But as we carried along, I noticed he was still somehow single, and it was affecting him badly. I would do anything I could for him. Don't get it twisted. But he was never great at asking for help when he needed it. In his defense, I never left my arms open to catch him either. And with that, I began to press him for what had happened between him and his girl. And I'm grateful he finally came forward. Quit laughing, it's disrespectful. Sorry, back to the story. I mean, Batman himself couldn't have gotten the old me to say this, but she was like the little devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other, he stuttered. She was both, right? You get it. And these hot twins like to whisper, he continued upon my nod. Everybody has to whisper once in a while, don't get me wrong. But she was going to change our history. That's why I'm telling you, these soft-spoken types are often frantically waving a bright red ribbon right in your dopey face. And you're so distracted by its beauty that you can't even catch her unraveling our gift. Whatever. The truth hurts, but he was played. We both were. Difference is, I knew who I had to let go of. I just have better taste, you know? And when I forced him to see I was right, I ended up wasting our precious young years. She would tell me you weren't good for me, the same thing you'd say about her to me. I was going behind both of you, and I was really trying, bro. If I could go back to the fall of their relationship... If I could go back to the fall of their relationship, I would have reminded myself that the perfect song is framed with silence. I wasn't thinking, though. I merely acted. He was talking at a hungry animal, and when he needed me more than ever, in his entire life. Well, I jumped headfirst into it. I threw the other chairs, and I threw the whole frickin' table into a wood chipper, man. Then I opened the door and I dragged him out, and I laughed at the splinters that pricked him on his miserable way out. I wanted him to feel terrible and used, just like me. He learned I was never going to be a professional therapist, but sometimes a therapist isn't enough. You want something totally real, a friend that's going to hold you close when the road gets bumpy. The babyface version of me wouldn't believe I seriously said the following, but I wasn't the righteous hero of our relationship. I was emotional, believe it or not, and it seeped through my defense. The worst part is, he apologizes too. That's what upsets me. I just hope my reassurance means something. I couldn't allow her to pull him far away and off into her old pillow fort under the stars. I didn't see what was in there, or I didn't want to see what was in there, per se, but I also wasn't just going to let him go. And the bruises remind me of how far we've come. Reminds us that we're here, at the very least, to gaze upon them. And then the old dog and pony show ensued. It was surreal. An out-of-body experience. This was another special night. I couldn't hide the smile if I tried. I want to be a bartender someday, when I'm old enough, he fittingly brings up. We would talk... Shut up! We would talk and laugh and connect once more. The years go by, people come and go. This time I kept that in mind as he lays it out for me all over again. This is fucked up. I was thinking about getting a ring. Oh no, bro.
No.
Sorry.
This is based on true story.
Yes.
I was thinking about getting a ring. Before you can say it, I know I'm a blind fraud. But listen, I ignored the cracks in my mind. I wanted her to stay, no matter what. He had quieted his voice, although probably not intentionally. I need to change my future and his. You jokingly asked me earlier, if you and her were both helpless and dangling off a cliff. He had to stop to laugh at the absurdity yet again. In that moment, I would have grabbed her. But let's say I was to see it here and now. I would grab you, man. Honest. I remembered to crack up a bit. It wasn't like my laughter was a bulletproof vest to his verbal double barrel. Hell, I'd raise my shirt if only for him to watch blood spill out of me and stain the very floor I stood upon. Ouch. This guy always manages to turn a stupid and mindless hypothetical into something profound. He did it back then, and he does it now. It's so easy to talk to him. No matter how much time has passed, it's like we were never apart, and I know he feels the same. And that's it. He was consistently tracing my face with his fingertips so that I'd open my eyes. That has to be why I reached out to him after he ditched me with his girl back at NMB on that magical night. That's why we are here again. Yeah, I know, Ramble. Let me get us back on track. Earlier, I brought up the idea that I wasn't the hero of our story, right? But that's the difference between a story and life. Nobody is wholly better than the other. I was in a damn fairy tale telling myself that I was only tough on him because I loved him. But no, I just couldn't get the facts through my thick skull. People grow, fall in love, and reprioritize. There is no fictitious villainous intent either. It was completely rational to him, to all of us. Our girls always come first. They come before our own parents, our mentors, and even our siblings. I was the villain according to my own narrative, because I too didn't even think about anyone, not even him, as I learned to love my own girl. Let me put on my voice. Every awful sentiment that I disguised. Every awful sentiment that I disguised as ironic or who's laughing, bro? Shut up. I'm just gonna say every awful sentiment that I disguised as ironic or edgy humor, I was wrong. So I'm just as sorry as you. Believe it. No more games, I told him. Thank Christ you said it. Despite what you'd say, we both know I'm a decently smart guy. Better than most, anyways. Certainly, I cut in. Thanks. Yeah, I knew you were trying to help me all along. You just went about it terribly, and she used that to cloud my vision, he finished. If only you two could have this conversation. If only you two could have this conversation. You think you're funny, but it hasn't left my screwed up mind. Not even now. He was sure to remind me. Yeah, I started. I'd used up all of my humanity admitting that to him, so whatever came next was just passing our time. Alright, the end.
I love it.
Wow.
Beautiful, right?
That was truly beautiful.